Now, I would welcome you to my garden, but as you can see, it's a little worse for wear at the moment. I have two young children, Millicent and Gabriel, and they love to play outdoors. One of the reasons why I chose this home is because of the outdoor space. It's big enough to play in, but small enough to maintain. I used to be so lawn proud. I would literally cut it every week. I'd use scissors to trim the edges and make it nice and tidy. And I just couldn't wait for the sun to come out, to open the patio doors and to spend a sunny afternoon with the children playing in the garden. We also have a pet chihuahua called Joey, a cat called Toby, we have a rabbit called Patches, and plenty of bicycles, scooters, swings, trampolines, all of the traditional family toys that you would expect to have in the garden. One of the problems that I noticed very early on is that the soil type, being up in the hills, is quite clay based, and especially being in a new build house, you don't have the best quality of soil there to grow plants. As a result, we have mostly fruit trees and bushes, and anything that seems to touch the lawn just dies, as well as the grass itself. I always have weeds on it, I always have moss, and I have re-turfed the whole thing, which is so expensive, about 3 or 4 times over now. And every summer the grass comes back patchy, it's thin, I scatter grass seed, I'm watering it constantly. I tell the children, please don't walk on it, please don't play on it, don't leave your toys out because it will kill the grass underneath. And so actually, when you think about it, our garden really is just a decking and a side path that we use, and the grass is completely out of bounds. Staying off of the grass hasn't actually helped it to grow because the right hand side fence where the sun comes in is always in shade, which means that literally everything I plant dies off. There is shade constantly under the children's playhouse and under the slide, which leaves a very dark, shadowy area where nothing grows, it's muddy, it's messy, and if the children walk on the grass, then they bring footprints into the house. It messes up the carpets, it leaves stains on their clothes, and really the outside space is more of a junkyard despite the love and time and money that we put into it. So I looked into using artificial grass because it's something that as a parent and an animal owner is very eco-friendly, it's very healthy for children and animals, and it's so incredibly hygienic. Looking online, I have to confess, I knew very little about artificial grass. Fortunately, I found a fantastic store where I was able to order within a few clicks, take a few measurements, and this fabulous team turned up at my house. They delivered the grass, brought all the equipment and tools, their expertise and knowledge, and took the project from start to finish to give my family the garden of our dreams. Now, as you can see, there is a lot involved in the installation of the grass, which I thought it would just be a case of pop it down and off you go. But really, it's this stage of attention to detail and the processes used that will ensure that it will stay perfect for many years to come. Now, the grass arrives on a roll much like a carpet, and as you can see here, this is the underlay. It prevents any stones or soil or anything from moving beneath, as well as any weeds growing up through it. The grass itself is rolled out much as you would fit a carpet at home, and the first time I saw it I thought, wow. Looking at the pictures online, you think, you know, have they been photoshopped? Have they been airbrushed? Have they been tampered with in some way to look so stunning? But as you can see here, this is video footage that I've taken myself of the process, and it really is just breathtaking to look at. It's so green, it's so thick, it's so luscious and soft. When you're sitting on it, when you're looking at it, it's hard to tell that it's artificial. From a distance, it looks like a golf course, and when you sit on it, to feel it between your toes, to feel the warmth of it in the sunshine, it's just wonderful. It's everything I've wished for in a garden. The installation itself is rather quick once you have the foundations in place. And here the wonderful team trimmed it into position. It's also nailed down 2 battens of wood and glued with silicone glue. This helps to ensure that it doesn't ripple, it doesn't lift, it doesn't split, it isn't pulled at all, and literally it's so hard wearing. Whereas before I'd have to say to my son, please don't ride your scooter on the grass. Now he can whiz backwards and forwards, up and down, and we're even able to cover over the pathway. So we have even more of a lawn, there's even more greenery, and it's just flawless. It's soft, it doesn't cut your knees. Water and rain, it drains off of it beautifully. The animals are free to hop around. My chihuahua, he can go to the toilet as normal, and it will sink through the grass and drain away just as it would if he was going to the toilet on normal grass. There's no cutting, mowing, watering, feeding, any of the sorts. It's just beautiful and perfect. And the best thing of all that I absolutely love is that the playhouse can go back and there's no shadowing, there's no dying off underneath. It just stays beautiful. It's the difference, I suppose, of decorating a room in your home. To be able to say, here's a fresh new carpet that feels beautiful, here's some paint on the walls that really brings it back to life. It's given my garden the greenery, the colour, and the homeliness that it was really lacking. And it's a part of my home now that I am so extremely proud of, and I can't get the children out of. Whether it's in the winter, whether it's in the summer, the spring, the autumn, it will remain beautiful, usable, clean and accessible. There's no mud, there's no mess, there's no dirt. It's just stunning. And when I open the doors to my kitchen, it's something that I really welcome. It's taken our home and actually given us a giant outside space to use now. It's the equivalent of having a conservatory put on, just without the roof almost. It's doubled the size of the space that we can use because we're not confined into the lounge or the kitchen or the bedroom to play. We literally have our house again outdoors, and it's wonderful. It really has changed how we use our home. Now the children can have their paddling pool, they can have their trampoline, they can dance, they can jump around and roll about with friends. We can have barbecues, we can have parties, picnics, read books, sunbathe, do everything we ever wanted to do. I highly recommend it for families, for pets, and for everybody who loves being outdoors. Thanks for watching. I put a new video out every Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe and come and check out my website.